Hey guys, and welcome back. Big day today. Lots of parts, chassis, and the engine is here. So stick with me till the end and I'll show you the engine and we'll pop it in place in the car so you can see why I picked it. And I will crack on and get these parts open. So please, if you're enjoying watching me build this car, a motorbike powered sleeper, then please do like and subscribe and click that bell. Cheers. This is a nice big box of parts from my mate Mike. Cheers, Mike. We've got the windscreen as well. Rear screen, rather. Let's get this open and take a look. It's like Christmas. That's well packed. We got a rear light. What's in here? Ah, shiny. These are the rear overriders. Look at those. Front wheel clasps. Oh, that's nice. Look at that 21E spotlight. That's very pretty. And this looks like our boot clasp and key. And then in here, you've got the other bits that go with it. Keep that together in the bag. So first box empty. Look at this. This is pretty cool. Fuel tank. Oh, it looks like it's got the sender in there as well. That's pretty cool. Look at that. Now it's gone on the bottom here, I knew about that, so we got to put a little patch over that. But I'll be modifying the bottom of this tank anyway to take the fuel pump from the motorbike. That is brilliant. Oh, fuel tank straps. And another one. Look at that. Goes a weight. That is our front wheel assembly. Because the one on the car was rotten from there, it's gone. So we need to have a look at the best way to mount that. I say that because this chassis has been modified. I'll take you through the chassis in a moment. Mike, I think we're the world supply of Bubble wrap. That's just a spare shock to help me mock things up. And a good pair of leaf springs. Good stuff. Let's pop those at the back. Lovely. Right then, let's have a look at this windscreen. Rear screen. Ah, there we are. Look at that. Brilliant. That bead even looks pretty good. What is it saying here? I brake for the hell of it. That sticker's got 1980 on it. Cool. I'll probably get this in today so it's safe. Because if I store this in around the garage, it is going to break. Right, I'm going to put this safe and then I'll show you the rest of the stuff. Okay, the other things that we've had from Reliant Spares is a good handbrake mechanism, some headlights, door hinges, we've got some sun visors, various parts of the trim. Now there is another box coming for me, but that's in transit. We've got a nice rear view mirror. Most importantly, we've got this chassis. This is off a Reliant Regal, a Rialto. It's been heavily modified to go on a Regal van. So I'm going to take this square frame off the back. So I'll get the angle grinder on that in a moment so we can take that off. I'll put all these parts safe and then I'll get the old rusty chassis and we'll put it next to it so you can see the difference. And then we've also got these doors and all the frames and all the mechanisms. So I need to strip these down and put them onto my old looking doors so we keep the look of that car. Right, I'll put all these parts away and then we'll take a look at this chassis. So these are the chassis from back to front. That's the H frame I need to take off and replace it with a back beam because this is for a van, this is a saloon. But you can see when we line these up, actually, they're meant to be. Yeah, more in line. You can see whoever's made this chassis has done a lovely job of it. So there's all my rotten one. And a nice new good one. So taking off that H frame is easy. The big job is what to do about down the front. Now I plan to take this off. I'm going to cut up here on both sides and across there. Take this whole top section off and then cut and clean up this old one because it is actually really solid under the surface rust from here up. And I'm going to weld that one into here because that will keep all these in the right place. Right then, let's get the angle grinder on that H frame and then we'll put the body of the car over the top of the engine, which I'll announce shortly. Right, and there we have it, H frame removed. So we could really pop the engine in place now and drop this car over it. Let's take a look. Okay guys, the time has come for the big reveal. Now, if you remember, I was talking about a Honda ST1300 engine, or maybe the Triumph ST1050, and I even got offered a Yamaha Diversion 900 engine for free. But I felt it was underpowered. I didn't want to go through all this build without putting a really good engine in it. So the problem with those engines is they're too big. Not capacity-wise, just their physical size. And the problem that leads to is you have to cut the car to get the engine in. And one thing I've said from the start, I really don't want to do to this car is cut it. It's a lovely car, and they're getting rare, and you start cutting chunks out of them. I don't think it's a good thing. So I wanted something that was going to fit where the standard engine fits, because otherwise you end up with builds like this one I'll show you now. This was sent to me by Carl, a friend of mine on Facebook. He saw it on Marketplace. This is a Robin with a 900cc 5-lid engine in it. But you can see he's had to cut the car so much, it turns the car into a one-seater. Well, that's not what we want at all. We want a two-seater. It looks standard, proper sleeper. So, the engine I picked is this one. This is an Aprilia RSV mill engine. Oh, there we are, focusing on it. As you can see, it's a really small, compact engine. It's actually not much bigger than the standard. It's a 1000cc 60-degree V-twin. That produces 130 brake horse and about 76 foot-pounds of torque. Now, the problem I've got is I did want to mount the engines sideways, but of course that would mean I'd have to cut the body. So we've got our primary drive here, and of course we're going to run this down to a prop. So what I think I need to do is I'm going to mount a what's called a bevel box here. I'll run a chain down to the end of the bevel box. The bevel box will change it to a 90-degree angle, or 90-degree or right angle gearbox they're called, and then that will run down, then connected to the prop down to the back of the car. So that's roughly how she's going to sit. So now what we'll do, just so you can see my rationale in action, we will put the car body on over the top of the engine and see what she sits on this frame like. Okay, here we go.
Down. I can leave go.
Okay, excellent, well done.
I have left gone.
Left on, left on! Yes! And we didn't break anything! Stay tuned for the outtakes.
I'm sure that's lighter than last time.
Okay, so here we are in the car, and you can see why I chose this engine. Don't know whether you can see there. She fits in there just perfectly. And now let's go and have a look through the top, because of course we've got to get the exhausts on there. So the exhaust will come on here and around and underneath. So we've got enough room for the exhaust there. We'll put a heat shield in here. Let me get out of here. I've got to be careful where I stand there. And here we are in the engine bay. So she's not quite straight there, so we'll have to straighten it up a little bit. So we got plenty of room for the air boxes on the top. We can mount an air cooler or a radiator there. Same on that side. We can have ram air, the air coming in straight over the carburetors here. That is just the perfect engine for this build. So there we are, guys. The Aprilia RSV 1000R Miele engine and a good chassis. Let me know what you think, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. And the other thing that came with the engine is we've got this nice oil cooler, we've got the complete loom, we've got two rads with the fans on them, we've got the ECU, which is actually race chipped, engine mounting bolts, we've got the fuel pump, We've got the carburetors in there, we've got the water tank, we've got the airbox, we've got the oil cooler, and we've even got these lovely clocks. Now, what I thought I'll do with the clocks, because we've got the complete loom, the loom is going to run absolutely everything in the car. That's the plan anyway, the indicators, the lights, everything. I haven't worked out how I'm going to do reverse yet. So I thought, here we are, getting back in the car. Right there, let's have a look. I thought that we would mount that there on a frame, something like that. So we've got all the controls and functions that we need. We're not going to interfere with any of the old switches, or in fact, even by there. I could take the ashtray out and run the wire in through there. Yeah, I think that would make sense, wouldn't it? That's an excellent place for it. But with the whole loom running there, everything that we need on the engine will work. All the displays will work, all the race functions will work. These can just be left as they are, nice and pretty. I'll replace these switches so they actually work. I'll get some nice period chrome ones. And that's it. Right guys, that is definitely it for this episode. Thank you very much, and a big shout out to everyone who's commented. I've been offered parts and Haynes manuals and everything. I really do appreciate you guys getting in touch and helping me out, so thank you very much. So cheers guys, thanks a lot, I'll see you soon. Oh, at least that's on camera. Ready? It did cause a little bit of damage here when we dropped it, but I'll repair that. You can see where it was broken there already, and it's just broken across an old brake, so that sucks. I didn't really want to do that, but it is what it is.